Okay, these are our notes for DotPlots. This is Chapter 10, Stop 5. So just like all our last ones, we're going to start out with some vocab, and then we'll go into an example, and then we'll practice doing it on our own. Okay, so DotPlots. One way to give a picture of data is to make a dot plot. A dot plot is a visual display of a distribution of data values where each data value is shown as a dot or other mark, but most commonly a dot. A dot plot is also known as a line plot. So we made a line plot when we were showing how to find the mode. If you remember that from stop 1, where we had, it looked a lot like this, but we had X's above it. That's called a line plot. It's just another form of a dot plot. They both do the same thing. One has lines, one has dots. Same thing. Okay, so here's an example. Students in one class recorded how many first cousins each student had. Here are the results. Okay, so we're going to create a dot plot from this table of data. So step 1, just like everything else, we're going to put the data in order from least to greatest. So let's go ahead and do that over here. It looks like I start with 1. I've got 2 of those. My next number would be 2. I don't see any 2s. I've got 1, 1, 3. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4s. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3 7s. 1, 2, 3. Excuse me. So now that I put them in order, least to greatest, it says step 2, if not already given, draw and label a number line that includes the lowest and highest values. So if they haven't given you a number line already, you're going to draw a number line that will have the numbers 1 through 7 on it. So make sure you include your lowest number all the way up to your highest number. And you want to include every number in between. Okay? So step 3 is to place as many dots above each number as there are responses for that number. For example, look at the chart above. How many 6s did we count? Well, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 6s. So we would go to the number line and we would plot 4 dots above the number 6. So here's an example. They've taken all this data and they've already put it in a dot plot for us, but let's just double check to make sure that we wrote our numbers down right. So above the 1, it looks like I have 2 1s. So there are 2 dots above the number 1. Next would come number 2, but I didn't have any of those, so I left that blank. Number 3, I had 1, so there's 1 dot. For the number 4, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots. For the number 5, there are 6 of them, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dots. For the number 6, there's 4 of them. And for the number 7, there were 3. So after I put it in order least to greatest, and I make sure I have a number line that has all those numbers on there, you just go and you put a dot, or for 1 dot per how many numbers you have. So I had 2 1s, so 2 dots. I had 5 4s, so 5 dots. Okay, so let's come down here and let's do some examples. So it says, for the next month, the 5th graders kept a record of how many times they called one of their first cousins on the phone. Here are the results. So here's our results, okay? We're going to record the results in the dot plot below. So we're going to take these and transfer it to a dot plot. Okay, so step 1, order the numbers from least to greatest. So it looks like I start with 0, and I have 2 of those. Okay, and then I have 1 would be next. So 1, 2, 3, 4 ones. Then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 twos. So 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 threes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got a 4, 2 fours, and a 6. Okay, so notice how I crossed these off as I wrote my numbers down. I want to make sure that I include every single thing on there in order to reflect the data correctly. Alright, so we're going to place a dot for each number of responses on the number line provided. So for 0, I have 2 of them, so 2 dots. The number 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 dots. The number 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The number 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 2 number 4s. Don't have any 5s. And I have 1 6. So I just created a dot plot from that data. Okay? Over here it says use the dot plot for exercises 2 and 3. So we're going to be using this dot plot to answer these questions. It says how many students made at least 1 phone call to a first cousin. So at least 1 phone call, that's like greater than or equal to. Okay, at least 1, that means they made 1 phone call or more. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 19 students made at least 1 phone call. So they made 1 or more phone calls. So I just counted the number of dots. That was 1 or more. Now we're going to determine the median, mode, range, and if there's any outliers shown in the dot plot. Okay, so remember median is the middle. I'm going to go and I'm going to rewrite this list down here just so it's easier for us to see, especially for finding the median. I like it all in one line. I think it's just easier. So I'm going to go and rewrite that. So I've got 0, 0, 2, 3, 4 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 twos, 5 threes, 2 fours, and a 6. Okay, so now I have it all in order. I just like to do that. It's easier for me to find the median. When you start getting 2 lines, you kind of start going, oh, when I get here, where am I? And all in one line is just makes your life easier and more organized. So the median's the middle. So beginning, end, beginning, end. I'm going to work my way in. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, beginning, end. So it looks like my median is 2. My mode is the one that occurs the most. So if you look at your dot plot, which one is the tallest? Well, that would be 2. We could also figure that out from here because there's 7 twos. My range is my highest minus the lowest. So 6 minus 0 is 6. 6 minus 0. And then are there any outliers? Okay, well, to go from 0 to 2, 2 minus 0 is 2. And the difference between 6 and 2 is only 4. So those numbers are pretty close together. So I would say no, there's not any outliers. None. There's not a number that's just way out there, way far away from the median. Yes, this is a little farther away. There's a gap here, but it's not like there's a dot all the way over here at 20. So that would be an outlier if there was like a dot at 20, because most of my dots are right in here. And then I would have this random one that's way out here. That would be an outlier. All right, so these are your notes for dot plots. Remember, when you're making a dot plot, you're drawing with a number line and dots.